everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel, and I have a cross stitch tip for you. I wanted to make something for spring, preferably something that was for Easter, but you can make this for any season of the year. And I wanted to put flowers on it, specifically tulips. So I'm referencing this book here. You don't have to have this book. If you've already got cross-stitch books, you can look inside for tulips in there. This one is called 2001 Cross-Stitch Designs, and it is a wonderful book. It is made by Better Homes and Gardens. I got mine off of Amazon, but a lot of people have told me they went to secondhand bookstores and found it, or they found it at a garage sale or thrift shop. So just look around, you might be able to get a deal on it. Now, if you can't get this one or afford this one, of course, look at other cross-stitch books. So as I was looking through this book, I wanted something that was a really simple tulip flower design, which is this one right here. Now this one, it's a border and they're showing the flowers going up and down. I'm not going to be doing that, but I can do something like this. Let me show you another one. Now here's some other tulips right along here that are even easier. So depending on your knowledge of cross stitch and how complicated you could get, you want to make sure you look for something that you feel you can do. Now let me show you something else that could be considered a spring flower. So you could even use these heart shapes right here and use those for your spring flowers. These are really easy to do. And what I like about this is every tulip is a different color. Now for me, I wanted something a little larger. So I actually made up my own tulip pattern, and this is really easy. Up here I've got just a small section of yellow for the inside of the flower, and the rest of the petals are right here, and then I have 2 leaves and a stem down at the bottom. So let me show you how I went about putting this tulip pattern together. Now my tulip, I wanted it about 2 inches high and about 1 inch wide. It actually wound up being 1 1/8 inch wide, but it was close enough. So I drew a rectangle. That was my first step. And then down here, about a 1/2 inch from the bottom, I drew another line because I knew that this is where my leaves and stem were going to be. Then up here at the top, I drew another little, it's a little dash line. That's about a 1/2 inch from the top down because I wanted my little yellow point right here to be about that high. So the very first part of the tulip flower that I did was this. So let's go up here and I'm going to show you how I lined it up. I'm going to show you how I began to stitch this flower because it's going to make it easier if you start with that yellow section at the top middle part of the tulip. So for my tulip, I started out in row 1 with just 1 cross stitch. Then I went straight down and did 3. Down again, did 5. Down again and do 7. And then one more time I went down and did 9. Each time I went out 1 stitch on each end. Now to get that diamond shape, you're going to reverse it. You're going to do 7, 5, 3, 1. So the widest section is 9 stitches. So this is the bottom of my little diamond shape. So to start the pink floss, I counted out 8 stitches out this way and went up 8 stitches this way. So here's the layout over here. So the layout for the pink petal point up here actually starts 1 stitch or 1 row below the yellow. So you start out with 1 stitch and you're going to go straight down. Then do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's straight on this side and at a diagonal here. So this last row is even with this. When you get done with this side, then you're going to flip it and do the other side of the flower over here. So that's how I did this upper portion. The rest is a piece of cake. You just go down as many rows as you want and then begin to come in one stitch at a time and go down as far as you want. So mine didn't come to a complete V. I wanted it to be, it was actually a little larger or wider than the stem here. My stem was 3 stitches across, 7 rows down. And then my leaves, I went out a little bit and just did 3 coming up, and then I graduated inward to make it look like a point. So what I wanted to make was kind of like a bread basket or a dessert basket, whatever you want to make. And I took a round basket and created a liner for it. And I do have a tutorial for a round basket liner. It is a beginner's project, so if you don't know how to sew, this is a nice little project to start with. So I want to put my flowers on this edge of the basket liner. So here is a piece of Aida cloth. It's 6 or 7 inches long. And you could put your tulip flowers, if you want to do tulips. Remember, you can do anything. You can do the little hearts or anything else. And you could have a row of them going across here. Then cut it out. This is about a 2-inch wide strip. And then around all 4 edges, pull some of the Aida cloth threads out to create this little fringe. Then you could stitch it on one side of the basket liner. Now, I've got pom-pom fringe on them, so you can put the pom-pom fringe on if you want, and I'll show you some other trims in a moment. So you would probably want to put this on first, and then if you're going to use the pom-pom fringe, put that on this bottom edge here. And you stitch right through the center of the band that holds the pom-poms on. Now this is what I wound up doing on mine. I made this kind of half circle. So let me show you how I went about doing it. So I took a piece of scrap fabric that I had, and I'm going to put interfacing on it. Now I put heavy interfacing. You can also use a lightweight interfacing. Your lightweight has little beads of glue on one side. It's very bumpy. That's the side that would go against the back side of your fabric, the not so pretty side. If you're using the heavy interfacing, it's shiny on one side. The shiny side would go against this. Then follow package instructions for putting it on. It's a really simple process. Then take your Aida cloth and lay it on the front side of your fabric. Then take something round that's a little bigger than your flower design that you made. And I went past the center. Here's the center line. I went down past it a little more and traced around it. Then I pinned all my fabric pieces together and then stitched right on the drawn line. And when you're done stitching, you're going to trim out, cutting it off, about 1/4 of an inch out past your stitch line. So after you've trimmed away, this is about what it's going to look like. Because this is curved, you want to come up about 1/2 inch from the bottom and do little clips. Don't cut through your stitch line. This is going to help your fabric lay flatter when you turn it front side out. So after you've done all that, reach in your opening down here and turn it front side out. Then, here it is. Once you turn it front side out, the bottom edges that's still open, you want to fold it inside. Go to your ironing board and press this entire thing flat. Then put it on your basket liner along the edge down here at the bottom. And I stitched it down across the bottom and up about an inch on each side. Then I put the pom-pom fringe over the top and stitched through the center of the pom-pom fringe band all the way around. And there you have a decorative basket for spring. So I use the pom-pom fringe, but there are so many other trims you can use. I get all my trims from Walmart because they actually have a pretty good selection. But remember, not all Walmarts carry fabric and craft items. You can go to Joann Fabrics and Crafts and get trims, and even go to Amazon.com. This is a little eyelet lace. It's slightly ruffled. It's got little tucks up at the top to kind of let it flare out. There's even trim like this. You can even get tassel fringe and stitch it around the bottom. And by the way, you don't have to use any trim if you don't want to. So I hope you enjoyed this cross-stitch tip and then you learned something new. I hope I've inspired you to try something like this. Now, if you're interested in other cross-stitch tips and other beginner sewing projects, you just scroll down to the description section, click on Show More or the down arrow. It will expand open and you will see all kinds of links appearing. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.